Today, I want to give you a brief overview of the practice of prayer during Lent. My name is Kathy, and everything I'm about to say is based on Celebrating Lent in Your Home, written by Catherine Schneider and Roberta Hama, as well as The Season of Lent by Dennis Bratcher. Most Christian churches that observe Lent focus on it as a time of prayer, especially penance, repenting for failures and sin as a way to focus on the need for God's grace. As we focus on conversion from our sinful ways and renewal of our baptismal promises, the Lenten season becomes a time of preparation to celebrate God's marvelous redemption at Easter and the resurrected life that we live and hope for as Christians. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell us that Jesus was led by the Holy Spirit into the desert where he fasted and prayed for 40 days. In the Gospel of Luke, we read that Jesus would often slip away to the wilderness to pray. As disciples of Christ, we are called to pray always. On the journey through Lent, Dennis Bratcher says, Lent is a way to face the reality of the consequences of sin and the terrible toll it takes and has taken on the world. Lent calls us to examine our own lives with the prayer that we find in Psalm 139. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my thoughts. Some say my anxious thoughts. See if there is any wicked way in me. The journey through Lent is a way to place ourselves before God humbled, bringing in our hands no price whereby we ourselves can purchase our salvation. It is a way to confess the total inadequacy before God, to strip ourselves bare of all pretenses to righteousness, to come before God in dust and ashes. It is a way to empty ourselves of our false pride, of our rationalizations that prevent us from seeing ourselves as needy creatures, and of our external piety that blinds us to the beam in our own eye. Through prayer that gives up self, we seek to open ourselves up before God and to hear anew the call of "Come unto me." We seek to recognize and respond afresh to God's presence in our lives and in our world. We seek to place our needs, our fears, our failures, our hopes, our very lives in God's hands again and again. And we seek, by abandoning ourselves in Jesus' death, to recognize again who God is, to allow his transforming work and grace to work in us once again, and to come to worship him on Easter Sunday with a fresh victory and hope that goes beyond the new clothes, the spring flowers, and the happy music. As you reflect on your own prayer life, I leave you with these questions to consider. When do you pray, and is prayer a part of your everyday life? What do you pray for or pray about? Why do you think prayer is an important part of this Lenten season? And why should prayer be an important part of our daily lives? What type of prayer life do you want to develop?